R. Kelly is getting sued again, even while he is behind bars. Today, we're going to talk about a new lawsuit that was filed against R. Kelly last week because he needs to pay up on a judgment that was entered against him back in 2023. It's been 2 years. It looks like he has not paid very much money on the judgment. And so his plaintiffs are suing now himself again, his co-defendant again, his companies again, and then now they're adding some of the Universal music production that they get the royalties to R. Kelly's music. They're adding them to it and say, hey, how about y'all just give the money directly to us instead of divvying it out, maybe giving R. Kelly some commissary or whatever is going on in prison. Give the money directly to us. So we are going to cover that lawsuit together. It has been a while since I've live streamed, so bear with me. I got to get back into the groove of things. So welcome back to the BriHive. If you guys are new here, welcome to the BriHive. If you haven't already, please do hit the like button. And if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe. For those of you who do not know, I was out sick. And then I went into trial and then all the things. So now we are back. We're back to streaming and we should have some more consistent live streams going up now. So if there are any topics that you guys want to cover, just let me know so that I can start looking into them, because I've been living under a rock for like the last 2 weeks when we are talking about the celebrity lawsuits that we all like to cover. So we're going to jump right into the lawsuit. It's probably going to be a shorter live stream. Thank y'all for joining me on Saturday night. I was like, I have to get back on my channel. So thank you everyone that is here with us live. Thank you everyone that is on the replay. I know it's been a while, but we're going to get back into the groove. Let's go ahead and jump right into the case. It's a shorter case. Let's get back in the groove. And then we're going to get into later this week some updates on the lawsuit against Diddy that Jay-Z is involved in. And a part of the lawsuit is dismissed, which is very interesting. We're not going to cover that today. We're probably going to cover that in a couple of days. But let's talk about what R. Kelly has going on. Bear with me, y'all. I got to get back into the groove of things. Okay, R. Kelly. I feel like it's been a while since we've heard R. Kelly names. So we did not cover the original lawsuit against R. Kelly on this channel, but there was an original lawsuit filed. I don't remember exactly the year that it was filed, but the judgment was entered in January of 2023. So it has been just about 2 years, about a week after 2 years, they filed this now impending lawsuit. But before we get into what the new lawsuit says, let's look at what the court ordered from the last lawsuit that gives these plaintiffs the right to file this new lawsuit, if that makes sense. So let's see where we are. Okay, there we are. Let me make this more beautiful and bigger. Okay, I might be blocking myself. See, here we go. Trying to get in the groove of things. There we go. That might be a little bit better. Okay, so this was filed in the Supreme Court of New York in New York County. And this is the order by the court why these people sued him to begin with. So this matter was set down for an inquest by order dated January 19, 2023. At the heart of the matter, this case concerns defendant Robert Sylvester Kelly, also known as R. Kelly, and his inner circle's efforts to silence certain women and their respective loved ones who were previously sexually, physically, and mentally abused by defendant R. Kelly and his agent. The consequential injuries suffered by the survivors stem from a unique set of facts that were unlike any other case the court was able to find. And when the court says that, that means whatever you did, R. Kelly, was really, really bad, and they are about to stick it to you. Here, while working on the Lifetime documentary series, Surviving R. Kelly, these women with a history of abuse found a community of those with like experiences, and all similarly testified that participating in the show together was helping them finally heal. These efforts to reclaim their respective stories was supposed to culminate in the public premiere and screening of Surviving R. Kelly on December 4th, 2018. That came out that long ago. That makes sense. Y'all let me know in the chat if y'all watch Surviving R. Kelly. Y'all let me know in the chat if we are still supporters of R. Kelly. I'll go ahead and put myself out there. I'm not a supporter of R. Kelly. It sucks that he has some good music that he is featured on. Those ones are hard. Those songs are hard to give up. The ones that he is featured on, it's easy to give up his songs individually, but the one, like, he's just messing up good songs, at this point. But yeah, y'all let me know if y'all watch Surviving R. Kelly. I did. I binged it while I was in law school, and I stayed up all night watching Surviving R. Kelly. And I I just remember being so disgusted and so shocked watching this, and I had class in the morning. So y'all let me know if y'all actually seen the docuseries. Okay. So they were supposed to premiere on December 4th, 2018, in which all of the plaintiffs would be in attendance and certain plaintiffs would participate in a panel discussion. However, beginning as early as May 21st, 2018, defendants began a campaign to intimidate these women and convince A&E/Lifetime and Newhouse to stop the screening of the docuseries. When numerous phone calls, emails, and cease and desist letters failed to lead to the cancellation of the screening, defendants contacted the local law enforcement and then called Newhouse on the night of the screening and warned them that the police would be coming shortly and that there was someone there with a gun that was going to shoot the place up. So we're here again hearing about this intimidation. We heard that in the Diddy case, right? And it seems like these people with money and celebrities and fame, they feel like they can kind of get over because they have been able to get out of certain things previously and threaten their way through things previously. And at this point, the court is just not accepting it. So we see this intimidation, and the court is finding that there was intimidation by R. Kelly and his defendants along with him. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is just when it was being released. They were going to have basically like a premiere. You know, it came out. It was going to be a premiere, and they're basically saying, stop the premiere or we're going to shoot the place up. Like, are you serious, R. Kelly? That is ridiculous. So let's jump back into it. Let's see. This false mass shooting threat successfully led to the emergency evacuation of everyone, including the plaintiffs, awakening and exacerbating old wounds in the abuse survivors and causing all plaintiffs even greater trauma. Over the course of several days, this course heard the expert testimony of Sherry Botwin, trauma specialist, and the testimony from each plaintiff about the different harassment and trauma they have faced and the resulting mental and physical consequences. The plaintiffs respectively explained how a night that was supposed to be a celebration of healing became another stark reminder for the plaintiffs that they would never be safe or free from defendant Kelly and his inner circle's harassment, threats, and intimidation. These intimidations, especially the December 4th, 2018 screening premiere incident, has resulted in post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, hypervigilance, panic attacks, avoidance, and isolation, among other effects on the plaintiff. Now, after the inquest in this matter was conducted on March 10th, March 15th, March 27th, April 17th, and April 19th of 2023, based on the documents admitted into evidence, after considering the expert testimony of Sherry Botwin, and after assessing the credibility of the plaintiff's testimony, after direct examination and the cross-examination by pro se defendant Donnell Russell, the court finds in favor of the plaintiffs as follows. So it sounds like R. Kelly didn't actually testify in this case, which is interesting. And he still got a judgment against him, but also he was probably, I think he was already in jail at the time that this case went forward. So there was 5 plaintiffs, and let's just listen to how much each of them were awarded. Okay. Because they got compensatory damages. So for the actual injuries that they suffer from, medical bills, all kinds of things, missed work, all of those things, compensatory damages, and they got punitive damages in order to punish R. Kelly and Donnell Russell, which apparently was his accomplice. So we got Lizette Martinez. They have their attorney's address and everything on there. Got a judgment against R. Kelly, 2 of his LLCs, and Donnell, whatever his name is, I forgot his name that fast. And they awarded $1,150,000 in compensatory damages to this plaintiff, to Lizette. And then they ordered an additional $700,000 in punitive against R. Kelly and another $100,000 punitive against Donald Russell. So $800,000 combined, those two. And she also gets an additional $1,150,000. For Lisa Van Allen, same thing. She got, against the same defendant, she got compensatory damages of $1,206,250 for the compensatory damages, and she too also got punitive damages against R. Kelly for $700,000 and then against Donnell for $100,000. Then we had another plaintiff, Kelly Rogers, got a judgment against all 4 of the same defendants, and her award was $556,000 $1,250. So about half of what the other ladies received for compensatory damages. But then she also got the additional $800,000, $700 against R. Kelly, and then $100 against Donnell for the punitive damages, because y'all should not have been threatening people. And then we got another plaintiff, Faith Rogers. She got a judgment against the same defendants for $1,500,000. So hers is the highest so far for compensatory damages. And then she also got awarded an additional $1,050,000 for the punitive damages. So the other ladies were getting $800,000 in punitive damages. This particular plaintiff got $1,050,000 in the punitive. So she's netting a good, $2.5 million? That can definitely change your life for the stuff that he put them through. And an additional $200,000 from Donnell. So yeah, she's on her way up to the 3 million range, while the other ladies are at like 1.7 or, whatever it may be. Or I guess like around 2 million. She's more on the way to 3 million of what she's being awarded. And then we have Jim Pratt, another plaintiff, got a judgment against the same four defendants. Hers is for $350,000 for the compensatory damages. So this is one of the lower awards for the compensatory damages, but still got this $800,000 for the punitive damages, $700 against R. Kelly, and then another $100,000 against Donnell Russell. And then we also got Roderick Gartrell, another victim in the situation, got an award against the same four defendants, and the compensatory damages was again $350,000. So again, on that lower end for the compensatory damages, but still got the $800,000 in punitive damages. And so altogether, it totaled somewhere around $9,900,000 or something like that. And it is also collecting interest on those judgments. And so, like I said, this was ordered in January of 2023. We are now in January of 2025. And what they are telling us is that they have not been paid, or at least they have not been paid the full amount. So they've gotten some payment. They've had to go after people that had agreements with him that are paying him royalties. And that's where we get to the present complaint that is at issue now. And make sure y'all are leaving y'all comments, because we're going to jump into those at the end of the live stream. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the stream. So let me know what y'all thoughts are. We're going to jump into it in just a moment. So instant lawsuit that we have is also being filed back in New York again. We have it in the Supreme Court in New York County. This one has Lizette Martinez, Lisa Van Allen, Kelly Rogers, Faith Rogers, and Roderick Gartrell, and Jim Pratt. So everyone is suing him again, saying, you need to get me my money. But this time it is against Universal Music Publishing, Inc. and Universal Music Z Tunes LLC. They have an agreement with R. Kelly. And then they are also tagging Donnell Russell and R. Kelly and at RSK Enterprise and the Indie Build Corp. So the companies that were sued along with R. Kelly and Donnell in the last lawsuit that we covered. So they're in there because it's like, okay, y'all owe me the money. So the court needs to make orders that money no longer goes to you, but it needs to go directly to me. And I forgot to mention in the previous lawsuit, all of the two companies, Donnell and R. Kelly, are jointly and severably liable, which means that either one person can pay all of it, or they can split it between the four, or they might split it between two. The other ones are companies that you can probably pierce the corporate veil to. So essentially what's probably going to happen is that R. Kelly's royalties is probably going to pay the full judgment after this order that they're requesting today. So let's see what we have. We have those same petitioners suing these defendants that we just listed off. We're not going to go over where they live, corporations. We got the UMPI was a corporation with offices in New York. That's why we're suing in New York. Same thing with UMZT, which is the Universal Music Group, the two different versions of it, also in New York. And then they talk about the four previous defendants. And then they recap what happened and how we got here, which we talked about a little bit, but they do summarize the numbers a little bit for us. So I'm going to go ahead and read what they put because they're going to put it a lot better than me in my stuttering. Okay. So in 2021, petitioners commenced an action entitled Lizette Martinez et al. Versus Donald Russell et al. In the Supreme Court of New York. In New York County. On August 25th, 2023, a judgment was entered in the lawsuit in favor of petitioners and against Donald Russell, Robert Sylvester Kelly, RSK Enterprise LLC, and Indie Build Corp. The judgment debtors is who they're going to refer to them as, in a total of $10,362,500. So I got the number wrong. Can't add. Okay. So over $10 million is what he owed at the end of the lawsuit. It looks like they put the order in a little bit after the findings from the court, which tends to happen because the attorneys have to write up the judgment and send it to the court so that they can sign it. It probably just took a couple of months to get that done. So anyways, judgment debtors, R. Kelly is liable for The judgment debtor, R. Kelly, is liable for $5,112,500 in compensatory damages together with interest thereon from January 19, 2023, and $4,550,000 in punitive damages together with interest thereon from August 25th, 2023 under the judgment, including all prejudgment interest accrued on the compensatory damages under the judgment as of August 25th, 2023. Kelly was liable to petitioners for a total amount of $9,937,314.38, together with post-judgment interest thereon from August 25th, 2023. That's not that's everything together. Where'd they get the 10 million from? Whatever. I can't add. I can't do music. I can do math. Let me just get over it. They go ahead and they're going to follow up with Universal Music and say, hey, y'all got a contract with R. Kelly, right? Yeah, we want to see that contract. We want to know what the contract is on the royalties. So let's see what they asked for. On October 7, 2024, so this is really recent still, petitioners through their counsel served an information subpoena with restraining notice and accompanying questionnaire. The information subpoena is what they're going to refer to it as, on respondent Universal Music Publishing, Inc. as part of the petitioner's effort to enforce the judgment. On or about November 25th, 2024, petitioners' counsel received UMPI's responses in the information subpoena. In its responses to the information subpoena, UMPI stated that Universal Music Z Songs, a division of respondent Universal Music Z Tunes LLC, entered into a co-publishing agreement dated August 16, 1991. So they had this agreement with R. Kelly for about 30 years, almost 30 years, right? With Kelly and R. Kelly Publishing, Inc. as amended under the UMZT has an ongoing contractual obligation to collect music publishing revenues derived from the exploitation of music works written in whole or in part by Kelly, which they are going to attach as Exhibit 3. Oh, I didn't realize we had the contract, so I might actually go through the contract at some point. Although the co-publishing agreement terminated effective March 12, 2019, UMPI remains contractually obligated to collect revenues and remit music publishing royalties to Kelly and Kelly's designated representatives for all compositions delivered to UMZT during the term of the co-publishing agreement. In an affirmation by Brandon Hardy, the Vice President, North American Administration, publishing for UMPI, dated January 30, 2025, so just last week, which supplemented UMPI's response to the information subpoena. Mr. Hardy attested all royalties under the co-publishing agreement belong to Kelly and that UMPI has an ongoing obligation to pay said royalties to Kelly, although Kelly may and has designated third parties to receive royalties on Kelly's behalf. While Kelly has designated both RSK Enterprise LLC and K Agape, I think I'm saying that right, 15 Entertainment LLC as payees under the co-publishing agreement, neither RSK Enterprise LLC nor K Agape Group, I'm calling it might be a gape. We're going to go with Agape. 15 Entertainment LLC neither of them have legal right or interest into the co-publishing agreement or any of the royalties owed to Kelly thereunder, other than to receive the royalties owed to Kelly as Kelly's designated payee. So although they're collecting the money still belongs to R. Kelly. But also, doesn't really matter because RSK is also a defendant in the original lawsuit. that the order was made against joint and severably liable. So the RSK can just pay it directly. So, but essentially what these plaintiffs are arguing is like, it does not need to go through all these different hoops and loops. Just send it directly to us. Okay. Send it directly to us. The property execution. On or about October 28, 2024, petitioners through their counsel submitted an execution with notice to garnishee to the New York City Marshal Salvatore Giglio, which was then served on UMPI. Let me see. On or about November 26, 2024, petitioners through their counsel submitted an execution with a notice of garnishee to Marshal Giglio, which was then served on UMZT. On or about November 21st, 2024, Marshal Giglio's office received a payment from UMPI in the amount of $210,639.77 pursuant to the UMPI property execution. The payment from the UMPI reflects royalties that were owed to Kelly pursuant to the co-publishing agreement. Marshal Giglio's office is entitled to pondage equal to 5% of all monies petitioner recover under the judgment, including the payment recovered from UMPI. Now, I don't know where the Marshal Giglio's office come in. They're the garnishee. They're basically collecting I guess they're kind of like a collection company. I don't know why I thought it was like a public entity like the mayor's office or something like that. I don't know where I got that from. Not the mayor's office, but y'all know what I mean. Like it's through the government. But it looks like this is someone that they hired to collect on behalf of them. And then they're getting like 5%. That's crazy. That is a crazy amount. Just to collect the money on their behalf versus it like just send it directly to us. Send it directly to us. But it seems like they jointly hired this Marshal Giglio person in order to collect the money on their behalf. Okay, so they got $210,000 in November of 2024, and then the payment from UMPI reflects royalties that were owed to Kelly pursuant to the co-publishing agreement. Marshal Giglio's office is entitled to a pondage of 5%. We already went over that. On or about December 9, 2024, petitioners' counsel received a check from Marshal Giglio's office in the amount of $200,077.79, reflecting the payment from UMPI less pondage, which is credited towards the balance of Kelly's liability under the judgment. So they collected their $10,000 off the top and sent the rest of the money to the plaintiffs. Post-judgment interest on Kelly's obligation under the judgment accrue at a rate of approximately $2,450.30 per day. Who makes that kind of money? That's just interest. That's just interest. Okay. He's going to be paying this probably for the rest of his life because no one's going to get to go to his concerts if he ever gets out. Oh gosh. He's just going to be in prison poor. Since monies recovered under the judgment are first applied to any interest accrued thereon, the $200,077.79 recovered by plaintiffs from UMPI property execution pay off approximately 82 days of interest on Kelly's liability under the judgment. So that principal amount still remains until they pay off all of the interest. And it sounds like there's already like over $300,000 worth of interest. Like I said, I feel like he's going to be paying this for a very long time unless he is receiving $200,000 worth of royalties a month. I don't know. They didn't really detail, and I haven't gone through the exhibits to know if that $200,000 was for several months or just 1 month. Because if it was just for several months, yeah, he's not going to have no money. He is not going to have any more money. Okay. So after applying the $200,000 recovered by petitioners from UMPI property execution, the balance of the judgment as to Kelly's is therefore $9,937,314.36 interest, with interest thereon from November 14th, 2023. So probably from the time that they got the money, from when they filed this motion, more than $60,000 of interest has already reaccrued. That's insane. Based on the UMPI's response and the information subpoena in the affirmation of Brendan Hardy at the time of the court, here's this petition. Kelly will still have an interest in the co-publishing agreement and to the royalties that respondent collect thereunder, which will continue to come into respondent's possession in the future, which can be used to partially or fully satisfy the judgment. Respondent therefore are in. Why is that such a weird sentence? Respondents therefore are in and will continue to come into possession of property belonging to Kelly that can be used to partially or fully satisfy the judgment. And so why are they filing this? Like, they already have the garnishee, which is interesting to have a person to garnish without an order. Maybe they did it like backwards. Maybe they hired the garnishee and then UMPI was like, yeah, we'll give you the money, but where's the court order? So now they're filing this to get a court order to be able to collect that money on behalf of R. Kelly. It seems to me that it's weird that they will hire someone to garnish before they actually have an order to be able to garnish. They are asking for the respondents are in possession of the property respondents are in the possession of the property in which Kelly has an interest, including Kelly's rights and interests under the co-publishing agreement, and all royalties and or other monies owed to Kelly under the co-publishing agreement. Respondents will also come into possession of royalties and or other monies in which Kelly has an interest in the future pursuant to the co-publishing agreement. Petitioners as judgment creditors have the right to the property of Kelly, which is currently in respondent's possession and which comes into respondent's possession which will come into respondent's possession in the future, up to an amount necessary to satisfy Kelly's obligations under the judgment. The court should issue an order directing respondents to turn over to petitioners' counsel all property in respondent's possession belonging to Kelly and in which Kelly has an interest, including without limitation, all rights and interests Kelly have in the co-publishing agreement and any royalties and other monies owed to Kelly under the co-publishing agreement. The court should also issue an order assigning and transferring to petitioners all rights and interests that Kelly has in the co-publishing agreement and any other agreement between respondents and Kelly. The court should also issue an order directing respondents to turn over to petitioners' counsel all property in which Kelly has an interest that comes into respondent's possession in the future, up to an amount sufficient to satisfy Kelly's obligations under the judgment, with all interest thereon through the date on which any such order is entered by the court. The court should also issue an order directing respondent to execute and turn over to petitioner's counsel all documents necessary to effectuate the transfer of any such property interest to petitioner's counsel. No prior application for this relief has been requested. And then they basically just repeat everything that I said as far as getting their money back. They essentially want to be able to collect the money. And now that I'm reading through it a second time, I get more ideas when I read through things a second time. It seems to me like they did it backwards. They did a garnishee and UMPI participated once, but then they required the actual order from the court. Because I don't know of any place where you can get things garnished without having an order to garnish things. So sounds to me like they did something backwards. If I missed something and y'all got a better idea, let me know. Let me know what y'all think about this. I think it's kind of funny that he's still being sued behind bars. I think it's funny. I'm going to jump into the chat. Like I said, y'all, this is going to be a shorter stream, just trying to get back into the groove of things, getting on camera and talking as y'all see me struggle through it. And see how everyone's been. I've been out for like 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I miss this. I miss live streaming. So let's see what the people have to say. We got Nissa Howard saying hi, hello, and welcome into the live stream. Miss Frosty says, hi all. Hope everyone's Saturday has been a good one so far. I hope you had a good Saturday as well. It has been a good Saturday. For me, it feels long but short at the same time. Let me know how y'all's day is going. Rachel Hope I'm gonna mess this up. Brentison Englehart says hi, dropping some hearts. Hello and welcome into the live stream. We got Destined to Be moderator and member of the channel. Welcome back, saying good evening, BriHive. Nice to have you in tonight. We got Sokatoa saying saw it. Don't support him at all. As far as R. Kelly, yeah, no, we are not supporting R. Kelly. It's hard on the featured songs, but we are not supporting him. Rachel Mills, Princess Ravella, says, I'm sorry, R. Kelly, you cannot top Diddy's tally. Well, I don't know. R. Kelly definitely has not been sued by as many people, but I would say he is probably just as bad. No, I would probably say R. Kelly is worse. While there are some allegations against Diddy for minors, right? There are a couple of lawsuits against him for minors. R. Kelly's thing was minors. Like I would have to say he is a little bit worse than Diddy. They're both bad. They're both bad. But I think R. Kelly is a little bit worse. I just don't think he was sued as much. He didn't have Busby against him, but he is trying to catch up on the lawsuits because they're still suing him while he's behind bars. Cheryl C., member and moderator of the channel, welcome back in, says, hi, everyone. Going to listen tonight while multitasking. I hope you all are doing great. I hope you're doing well as well. Welcome in. Thank you guys for supporting. I know streaming on Saturday is not normal for me, but here we are. We're having a good time. Destined to be, also known as Tanya D, says, maybe I missed it, but how do they decide how much each person is required to pay? So it sounds like they went through some type of evidentiary hearing or trial, and they were able to testify and say, oh, well, I incurred this much money for medical bills. I haven't gone through all the documents or exhibits that were presented in that case. I don't even know if the exhibits are really available like that, but they got on the stand, they testified to like what they endured, or maybe they had to stay in a hotel. They can get money back from that. They can get money back for their attorney's fees. They can get money for pain and suffering. So they had a hearing where the plaintiffs were able to explain their situation to the court. And then the court came up with a number probably based on receipts and based on maybe like the severity of the interaction between R. Kelly and the other people. So like the people that got $1 million, they probably went to therapy. They probably missed work. They probably had to buy a new house. I don't know, maybe not a new house, but maybe they had to relocate so that they can get away from the threats. While the people that got like the 350,000, maybe they were just traumatized from being evacuated from the actual event. So that's basically how they determine it. The more receipts you can present, the more money you are going to be awarded, versus saying, oh yeah, I was traumatized, they made me run out of the building. You're probably going to get a little less money if you don't have that supporting documentation. So that was a long-winded answer, but I hope it makes sense. Destined to be said, thanks for hitting the like button on your way in. Bossy B appreciates it. Yes, thank you for that reminder. I always forget to say to hit the like button. I need to get like a little scrolly thing. I do have a little scrolly thing. It's just hard to multitask. Thank you for that reminder, Tanya. Or Destined to be, Nissa Howard saying, been doing well. Glad to know, doing well. So Katoa says, we miss you too. I missed you. It's so hard. I was like sick, and I'm like still kind of sick, kind of getting over it, but we're back. We're back in action. Rachel Mills says, R. Kelly worse in age, but Diddy numbers, man. Yeah, Diddy's numbers. He used to throw parties for this mess, allegedly, right? Allegedly, he's on trial right now. And I heard that he had a superseding indictment. I saw Natalie post it. I haven't been able to watch or look into it. Are y'all clued in on that? Because I don't know. I haven't looked into it. But if there is a superseding indictment, I'm going to need to get that covered this week. Okay. Jesse G, hello. Welcome in, saying hi. Bree in chat, hello, and welcome back. Nice to have you in here. And Tiny D saying hi to Jazzy G. Yeah, this case is not super outrageous, right? He was ordered to pay money. He needs to pay money. And if they need to collect it directly from the hand that feeds him, I think that's a smart way to do it. Okay. I know there are some new things coming out, new cases coming out that I guess they're not new cases, updates in cases that we have been covering on the channel coming out. And so I am going to be looking into those so that we can cover them moving forward. Right. I will say that in the Diddy case that Jay-Z is involved in which he has filed yet another motion to dismiss, and surprisingly withdrew his motion for sanctions against Busby, which was interesting to me to see. We're going to get into that case, but they actually dismissed the case against Bad Boy Records and another one of the corporations. The lawsuit is still pending against Jay-Z and Diddy. So that's very interesting. We're going to jump into that. We're going to jump into the motion to dismiss. And I'm going to try, fingers crossed, I would try to do like a short on the thing about the dismissal. And then, like I said, I think there was a superseded indictment for Diddy, and I need to look into that. So let's see here. Rachel Mills says, yes, I'm not sure if they'll ask for a later trial date and if that would make the trial longer. The defense is the one complaining that they can't get through all the evidence. So I do think that they need to push the trial back. I think Diddy is trying to strong arm them and it's backfiring on him. I think he is trying to strong arm them. So yeah, if there is a superseded indictment, I think they're going to have to push the trial back. I don't see how they go forward with new allegations coming in 5 months or 4 months before the scheduled trial, and Diddy's team was already having a hard time keeping up with all of the evidence. So that's interesting. Have y'all been listening to the Justin Baldoni and Baldoni, whatever, and Blake Lively stuff? I see that just pop up all the time. I don't know if I'm that interested in that case. So I'll probably do a poll to see if y'all care about that case. I know a lot of people are covering it, but it's just not my vibes. I'm not vibing with that case, but y'all can definitely let me know if it's something that you want to cover or that you want me to cover on the channel. But that's all that I have for today. I am going to try to throw in more streams where we're doing Reddit stories because I wanted to add that like 3 months ago and I still haven't done it. So those are the changes coming to the channel. I hope y'all enjoyed this short Saturday live stream. It's good to be back. Good to be chatting with everyone and getting your thoughts on the cases that are going around. Let's see. This is Howard says it's a messed up case. For which case are you referring to? Nicole B says, or is that for Blake Lively? Nicole B says, hey everyone, hello and welcome in. Rachel Mills says, I'm tired out by it. It's a lot. It's like every other day, it's something about them. Whenever I do my research, it's like all them in my research search terms, which is ridiculous to me because I don't pay attention to them any other time. So yeah, Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's thing it's just everywhere. Cheryl C says, it is too much for me. I'm going to wait for the actual trial. Right. And they got yelled at by the judge, the attorneys, like, stop putting this as a PR. It is so PR. Like, literally, I have to, like, pull through the documents to find any new cases because it's literally this article, Justin this, Blake this, Justin this, Ryan this. It's just a bunch. Destin to be says, I'm not interested in that case at all. I've been watching the ASAP Rocky trial. Yeah, someone did mention the ASAP Rocky trial on the post that I made yesterday. I'm behind about all days because I've been in my own trial. So I am going to try to catch up on it and kind of brief myself on it and then jump into that. I won't be like streaming day by day, but I do want to try to do recaps on that. Sokatoa says too many people are covering it. Okay, so I'm getting the idea that maybe we want to stay on some different cases so that there's a little bit more variety on YouTube. Destin to be says it really is a lot to Cheryl C. And Sokatoa says, yes, Lively Baldoni. So Sokatoa does want to hear Lively Baldoni. Most people are saying no to them. And it's Howard says, Hogue is doing a video on the Blake Lively case. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen him pop up doing it, but I've seen everybody else pretty much popping up covering that topic. And like I said, I'm not quite vibing with the back and forth of it all and the amount. He sued her and she sued him and whatever. It's too much. It's a lot of text messages. It's hard to get through for me. It is hard to get through for me. Let's see. We got Rachel Mills saying, if I can, I may try to go in person and see what the jury thinks of ASAP Rocky. That would be fun. That would be fun. I wish I could go. Sokatoa says, I'd be curious to learn more about what's happening with Diddy and Jay-Z. There are some updates there. There was a lot of filings, but some of them are not worth going over because they've withdrawn. Busby has withdrawn a couple of their things. They removed some defendants. And I guess it's not even Busby. Jay-Z then withdrew their motion for sanctions. So I don't really see a point of going over like what was Busby's response and then what was Jay-Z's response to Busby's response about the sanctions. So it has been some back and forth going on over the last couple of weeks where I haven't been able to cover anything, but I do think it will be something we can get done in one stream. Cheryl C says, also, Lively Baldani attracts interesting folks to the chat. Yeah. Some diehard fans for sure, right? Sokotoa says, no, I don't want Lively Baldani. Oh, okay. I thought you said you do want it. I was answering, yes, that was the case. Okay, you thought you were talking about. Okay, I got it. Destin to be says, oh, that would be great, Rachel. I understand that they are very attentive in taking notes. I think that was an interesting one too. Like his defense is that he fired a fake gun. I don't know if that helps him. And y'all can correct me if I'm wrong because I have not paid attention to this case at all. I just was kind of catching up on it today. So if I'm wrong about his defense, let me know. But I do remember reading that the defense said it was a fake gun that he fired. And that's why the guy was not afraid. Well, I guess that does help because if it was a fake gun and the victim knew it was a fake gun, it was not reasonable apprehension apprehension that you were going to be harmed if you knew it was a fake gun. So yeah, I guess that does help. Him. Okay, Rachel Mills says it's just like Baldwin, right? A little different. It says he shot a gun. I don't know if they meant at him or just like in the air or whatever to scare him. I have to look into it a little bit more, but it is a gun. It's not like a fake pop-off thing. It's like either it was a fake gun he was shooting. My understanding is either it was a fake gun he was shooting or a real gun that he was shooting and the guy was scared. So part of assault is you have to have a reasonable apprehension of physical severe harm, bodily harm, right? And so if you know that the gun is fake, then you don't have a reasonable apprehension that you're going to be harmed, right? So interesting stuff. But y'all, I'm going to go ahead and log off for the night. We will cover some other cases a little bit later on. Not later on, but this week we'll cover some more cases. So just let me know what you want to hear. I'll probably make another post about it. I'm going to grab Cheryl's comments and then I'm going to log off. Cheryl says, from what I have seen so far, I think he actually did it, but don't think the prosecutor has proven it enough for a conviction, in my opinion only. And that's what the prosecutor has to do. They have to prove it. That's on them. They have to prove it. So that's interesting. Destined to Be says, I'm not sure how they will decide, but the victim really is the worst person I've seen testify. And if the juries don't like you and you're the victim, they're probably not going to rule in the prosecution's favor. That's not good. Cheryl C agrees and says, horrible witness on the stand. All right, at least I have to go back and watch his testimony for sure. And then the opening statements, I will at least do that and then jump into it. But I know catching up on 9 days is a little bit hard. But anyways, hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. If you're watching the Super Bowl, I'll make a post. Let me know what team you're cheering for. I'm not really cheering for anyone. I'm just going with the vibes, going for the vibes. I don't really pay attention to football like that. So hope if you guys are going to watch the Super Bowl, be safe out there. And I will see y'all on the next live stream, which I anticipate being this Tuesday. And I should be able to stream on Wednesday and Thursday this week as well. I got to check my calendar again to make sure I don't have any trials. But I will see y'all on the next live stream. Have a good night, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.